Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Gabby Hour. I'm your host, Gabby Giselle, and today's podcast episode, we're going to be having a little girl talk, or maybe a little bestie talk, okay? Think of me today as your older sister. I'm going to be sharing with you my wise words of advice for dealing with not very awesome or great men. So if maybe you have found yourself in the past in some crappy relationships and you just need somebody to relate to, or maybe you're currently going through a relationship that has you questioning whether or not it's for you, come along and learn from me, because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. First, I want to start off by saying welcome. If this is your first episode with me, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and comment down below the craziest thing that a man has ever said or done to you in a relationship that made you go, I'm going to need you to hold on for a minute, sir, okay? Because today we're going to be talking about some men who maybe have cheated on their girlfriends that were talking to me and dating me. We're going to be talking about my first long distance relationship with a Twitch streamer. Yeah. And we're also going to be just talking about reasons why you should leave your man. Because recently it has been brought to my attention that, women are still accepting anything but the absolute best that they deserve. So let's get into it. First, I want to start off by telling you guys a freaking hilarious story that happened to me today. So, just quick life update, before we even get into the whole meat and potatoes of this freaking episode. But today, I was at work. And if those of you who don't know, I run a small business. And it's like a bar setting. It's like a smoothie energy bar setting, okay? So I stand behind a counter all day. And today, the morning was super, super busy. But for the last, week and a half, all last week and this week, I've noticed that I'm getting really busy from 7 a.m. when we open till about 8:39, and then it's just dead until noon, right? Not that that's necessarily weird in general, but normally I kind of have my eating schedule on lock. I don't eat lunch until around that noon time when things start to slow down a little bit after the lunch rush. So I've been taking my lunch at around 10:30, 11, and I am doing 75 soft. So I'm eating a really high protein diet right now, and high protein just means I'm gonna be on poops. We're going to be hitting some number twos. They're getting crazy. And I'm also about to get my period, I think. No, I'm pretty sure, because I'm feeling super bloated. And the girlies know period poops. Well, today it was kind of slow. I had a customer in, police officer, super funny dude. The biggest, by the way, just the craziest lore ever on this dude. Super, when you picture a police officer, just picture the buff, super serious looking, masculine police officer. Yeah, Disney adult. Full on Disney adult, annual pass holder, going on a Disney cruise by himself. He is a Disney fanatic. Crazy dynamic. I'm not sure how to feel about it, but I like him in general. I think he's cool. He's one of my loyal customers. Love him. But I'm sitting in there chatting with him. It was kind of slow. Gets to about 11:30. He's about to head out the door, right? And I'm like, oh, great. You're heading out. I could tell he was getting up, kind of walking around, stretching his legs again, because he'd been sitting for a little bit. And I'm like, great. I have to poo. I gotta go, Miss Girl, because I ate my lunch right before he got there. Or I think I was finishing it right as he was leaving. And so I was like, girl, I gotta go. So he was about to head out the door. I was like, great, I need to sit on the toilet for easy 10 minutes, right? Not really. I'm kind of a fast pooper, but still, I was like, ooh, I'm ready to go. I'm not clenching yet. I'm not getting to the clenching yet, but I'm getting there. He's heading out. Other customer walks in. Love him, all right? He looks like Jack Frost. He's the funniest dude. And, truly just one of, my favorite white men, after my boyfriend, probably him, okay? And he walks in, and he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I'm like, great. But then my other customer is, still talking to me, so I was like, all right, I can wait. Because normally that customer who walks in, I'm like, cool, he's going to get one drink. It's going to be quick. I already know what he wants. He lets me make him whatever, just in the style that he likes. I get started on it, right? As I'm starting his drink, other customer walks in with her kid. Okay, first customer leaves finally. Okay, other customer in the bathroom. This girl staring at me. I'm like, hey girl, what's up? Meanwhile, now I'm like, oh, I really gotta poop. Now I'm like, I really gotta go number two. It's getting alarming. It's getting alarming. I'm scared. Okay, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh, I might have to start clenching my butt cheeks together because this is not a normal. And this is where I realize it's not gonna be a normal poo. Okay, it's not gonna be just a quick no. Ain't nothing quick about this boo. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I got 3 in here. Hopefully she'll be the last one. Well, every time she comes in, we chat it up. And I never want to kick my customers out. They want to chat, I'm chatting with them, right? Now, if I got something to do, like a number 2, I'm not going to be super chatty because, Miss Girl, I got to go, And Jack Frost comes out the bathroom. I ring him up. He leaves. He was a quick one today. I don't know, but he was quick today, so didn't chat much. Her turn. I'm like, what can I get you? She's deciding. She's asking, right? Her son is like, I want a drink. I make her drinks. She didn't seem like she was going to get him one, and I was like, great. I'm running to the bathroom after this. I had to clench my butt cheeks together. She's like, oh no, he's gonna get a drink. Okay, we're gonna get him this. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make her a really quick drink. I start ringing it up. I'm like, all right, cool, great. Put it into the Clover system. Boom, turn it around. I start to make her son's drink. My friend pulls in. They have a dog. Very cute, very, very cute dog. I have many dogs that come to see me at work, okay? And this dog is in there. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is like a regular, basically like a friend of mine. Like, okay, like I'm going to go potty. They ordered a waffle and 2 drinks. And the waffle I have to make from scratch. Then I have to turn on the thing. So at this point, I'm already clenching booty cheeks. Okay, I'm clenching booty cheeks. I had to go to pee. I had to go poo 15 minutes ago. It's coming out. Okay, whether or not you like it. All right. And I'm making this waffle. I'm doing the whole thing, right? Distracted by the dog too. So that kind of helped me out a little bit because then I wasn't thinking about it so much. I was thinking about how cute this dog is. I'm making this waffle. I'm stressed, right? I'm stressing out. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I don't even know why I'm telling you guys this story, but like seriously, I've never had to poo so hard in my life, and I've never been so afraid of having diarrhea in my pants. Never been so afraid of having diarrhea in my pants, but today was almost that day. It wasn't. Thank God. Let me continue with the story. So I'm making this waffle. I'm like, all right, I'm going to pop this waffle in the waffle machine. It takes 4.5 minutes to cook. I'm like, slay. While he does that, I'm going to go potty. Customer walks in. Oh my God. Customer walks in. I'm like, okay. Another customer. I'm like, she's going to want a drink. Cool, great. She starts looking at the menu. Then she's like, oh my God, the dog and blah, 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 blah. She's hanging out with the dog. I'm like, okay, cool, great. I get a second. I go to turn and leave, right, to go to the bathroom. And she's like, okay, sorry, I don't mean to be. So I thought she was ordering. Then she wasn't ordering. Then she was with the dog. And then I was like, all right, now it's been like 2 minutes since I put the waffle in. It's about to be done. I still got to make 2 drinks. I'm making the drinks. I'm working. She is like finally ordering something after I hand him his food. He's sitting there eating. I'm like, oh my God, I'm stressed. Clenched booty cheeks, y'all. Like clenched, right? She leaves. I'm like, cool, great. This is my opportunity. But I was talking to my customer and I was getting him forks and syrup and all this stuff, right? So I've had to poo now for 15, 20 minutes. It's not funny anymore. I'm scared. I need to go potty. 3 other girls walk in. I heard there was a dog over here who wanted to say hi. We're going to grab a drink, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, oh shit, they're going to order. So I stand up there waiting. No, they're distracted with the dog. So I said, I'm out. I'm out. Y'all haven't ordered yet? I'm like, all right. Like they're hanging out. They're not in a rush. And honestly, at this point, I don't even care if I lose business. I would rather lose business than some of my favorite pair of jeans, which are, yes, some Fashion Nova cargo pants that I really, really love. And because they're like jeggings basically, and they're super comfortable. And I didn't want to lose them. And so I went to the bathroom and I had the most relief of my life. Truly the most relief I've ever had in my life. And that amount of stress, I don't think I would wish that on my worst enemy. Actually, I think I might. Maybe on like JD Vance. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he deserves to like shit his pants a little bit. Maybe he has. I bet he has. I bet he doesn't wipe. I bet he doesn't wipe right. Like, I just know there's like a little something hanging in between them booty cheeks, you know, like crusted in them booty hairs. You know, like he's just giving me hairy butt vibes. Yeah, I just spent 10 minutes talking about how I almost shit my pants today, so my bad. But anyways, back to the theme of this video. Oh, and by the way, let me show you guys my t-shirt or my sweater. Look at how cool. Got some BMWs on there. For my car guys and my car girls. This is my friend's clothing brand, actually. It's called Destroying Dailies. Go check them out. They're really cool. All of the designs are hand drawn by my friend Alex. It's his brand. He, is like 20-some years old, same age as me. He's, hustling out there. He does really funny car content also on the page, so go check it out. It's Destroying Dailies on Instagram and I believe TikTok as well. So go check them out. I just thought I'd wear it today, even though it's kind of like washed out with the background. I just thought I'd wear it to give them a little promo, and because I'm running out of sweatshirts to wear for the podcast. Because honestly, I film the podcast at my house, and my boyfriend and I keep my house at 68 degrees. Yeah, so it's freezing in here at all times, but I like it, and I like being comfy, so I kind of just I'm cool with the sweatshirt. It's just that like I'm running out of other options that are a little bit more plain, and I just thought it'd be cool if I took this opportunity to promote my friend's brand. So go check them out if you like cars and clothes. So anyways, oh my god, baby girl, we're gonna talk about red flags I've ignored in men, and red flags you should never ignore in men. And as a girl who once had a man call me on the phone while I was out of town visiting my family to tell me that he will never love me like he loved his ex. They don't love me like I love you. Yeah, it happened. It's a true story. I have the scars to prove that it's true. Besides my horrible judgment in men, what I took away from that was a lot of things that I've ignored. Okay, not just with that relationship, but other relationships, other talking stages even that I've had with men who ended up being really shitty. So I'm just going to give you guys a little roadmap, okay, to things that men do in a relationship or in the beginning stages of a relationship that maybe you should just park it, get out the core, and go get in another car, honey, because that one is going straight into a wall. Like, truly, that is a car crash waiting to happen, and it makes for great content. I'm proof. I have gone viral multiple times talking about how my ex-boyfriend locked me in a hot car and I pissed on his tire because of it. And so, like, great content, not good for my mental health. At the time though, we're doing much better now, and I'm also like, I know I'm gonna get tons of men on like my shorts that I post of this being like, you just hate all men. I don't hate all men. Do I hate most men? Yeah, probably. But I'm in a loving, healthy, awesome relationship with somebody that I want to marry. So joke's on you. I do have a boyfriend, and he is the best. Truly the best. Not a perfect person, of course. I'm not a perfect person, but he doesn't exude any of this behavior. Okay, he does not do any of this stuff. So let's get started, because I have a whole notes app here, Miss Girl. I know you can't see it because it's off screen, but it's long. So buckle in and let's go. I want to talk about beginning stages, like talking stages, like you're just now meeting, you're starting to text, you're getting the butterflies in your tummy type beat, right? Maybe he's in your friend group, you've been going out with your friends, you're seeing them often, you're like, oh, this kid's cute, right? The first red flag is never making the first move. Never making the first move to plan anything. Never making the first move to text you. Never making the first move to call you. Never making the first move to hold your hand or to even kiss you or hug you or compliment you. Like, just never being the first one to initiate an interaction with you, even after you've already established that you like each other. Okay? Like, it's one thing to be a little bit nervous, right? It's one thing for like sometimes men are a little bit scared to make the first move, and I think it's good when women are kind of like taking initiative and stuff. It gives men a little bit of confidence to do the same, and not all men are the same. And I also want to say that anything that you can't give to somebody, you shouldn't expect to get. right? Like, you shouldn't expect somebody to make an initiative to be with you when you don't make an initiative to be with them, right? Because it's a give and a take. But it's like, baby girl, I've already told you I'm into you. We've probably already been out once. Maybe we've already texted. You've called me cute. I've called you cute back. Like, we've flirted. We've been talking. We've been texting. We've been FaceTiming on the phone. Like, and I'm always the first one to call you. I'm always the first one to text you. This is our third date, and I'm the one who's planning it. Let me stop you right there. We don't do none of that in 2025, baby girl. No more of that, okay? Because there are men out there, and I know this because it took me a while, but I found a man out there who will plan something and who does text me first and who does make the effort first and who, shows me that he wants me sometimes first, even though it can be kind of scary. And especially in the beginning of my relationship started real weird, and I would love to tell the story one day, and maybe I will, but man, like, did he make the first move, baby girl. Let's just say that man got me a section in a nightclub, and he got me some bottles, and that's all it took, really. Apparently, I am not a cheap date. That was a $1,400 bill. Yeah. For bottles that we probably didn't even drink out of. I'm going to just be honest with you. I don't think that we drank out of any of those bottles. Maybe like one drink. Maybe. Another thing that happens in the beginning of a relationship sometimes is like a man not being able to make decisions, right? And not necessarily being, again, that nervous where it's like, well, we can do whatever like you want to do. Because some women don't want men who are like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Some women want to lead that conversation. But I think it's a red flag when, like, for example, this has happened to me in the past where a man is like, well, when am I going to see you? And you're like, I don't know, like, I'm free on Friday. And they're like, oh, okay, like, what do you want to do? When a man approaches you and is like, hey, when's the next time I'm going to see you? And you're like, hey, I'm free this weekend. And they just leave it at that. Or they start asking you more questions. Baby, no, ew. And this is a little bit of advice for the men out there. If you ask a girl, when's the next time I can see you? And they give you a time frame. They're like, hey, I don't work weekends. Do not ask them another question. Make a decision. Be definitive. And say, okay, how about if I pick you up on Saturday and we go do this, right? And if she really doesn't want to do it, she ain't going to do it, baby girl. She is going to cancel on you. She might even agree to it in the moment, but I promise you she will cancel if she doesn't want to be there. So I think if a man is like, whatever you want, what? Ew, baby girl. No. Another red flag that happens a lot in the talking stage, especially if you guys hang out in the same friend group, is a man acting nonchalant or low key about you. Okay, especially not just around his friends, because sometimes his friends be in on it, all right, but around other women. So, like, let's say this has happened to me. You're talking to a guy, he hangs out like near your friend group. Maybe y'all go to the same bars, maybe y'all go to the same places, and he hangs out near your friend group. Maybe he's in the friend group, like distant friend group, and y'all are hanging out and he does not come up to you at a party. You have to come up to him. And when you come up to him, he's like, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Instead of being like, hi, like, how are you? Like, giving you his full attention. I think that that's ugly. I think it's a red flag because why are you trying to hide it so bad? I know we're not official because I'm a very much like, don't touch me, don't kiss me, don't hug me when we're around other people unless we're official. 100%. However, if I see you in public and you don't even make an effort to talk to me, that's a little bit suspicious. That's a little bit suspicious. And it's happened to me where I'm like, yeah, but he talks to me around his friends and stuff. Like when it's just his friends and me, maybe he's just like awkward in public with people he doesn't really know. But it's like, I don't think that that's the truth. I think that men will do what they want to do no matter where and when and with who. Okay. And if they really want you, right, if they're not just trying to keep you on the low, especially if you're already hooking up, baby girl, leave that man. Get out of there. Get the hell out of there. Okay. Another thing that I dislike in the beginning of a relationship, like with men, okay, is when they have aggressive tendencies while they speak about other women. Yeah, but like, she's a fucking slut, so you already know. What? Well, she just be dressing like that. I don't fucking know. Like, I just think she's so fucking annoying and blah, 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 and I can't stand her, and this stupid fucking bitch, and blah, 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 and my ex this and my ex that. Oh, don't even get me started on the whole ex. If a man in a talking stage of a relationship is already bringing up his ex, and not even like, oh, my ex cheated on me, and, you know, this, I just want to move slow, or hey, I just got out of a relationship, I want to move slow. Like, that's normal. But for a man to be like, yeah, my ex was fucking crazy. Don't do that shit. I hated when my ex did that shit. She was a fucking slut too. Like, blah, blah, blah. Don't wear that. I hated that. My ex used to do that shit. They never hated it. They actually don't hate it. They just hate that you're not their ex. I'm going to say that again. If a man is constantly saying to you in the talking stage or while you're already in a relationship that he don't do that, don't say that, don't act like that, don't walk like that, don't talk like that because their ex used to and they fucking hate that bitch, verbatim, aggressive ass language towards another woman, regardless of how crazy she could have been, I'm gonna just say this. They're not mad that you're doing shit like their ex. They're just mad that you're doing shit like their ex, reminding them of their ex, but you're not their ex. Again, do I have to tell you about the time that my ex-boyfriend called me and told me that he would never love me as much as he loved his ex-girlfriend, who, by the way, was lesbian. Not bi, lesbian. Yeah. Not hard to believe she would have had that awakening after him. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they talk to you like that, like, shut up, bitch, or like they yell at you or raise their voice at you in any fucking way, especially in a talking stage. That should be the time when men are like trying to win you over by being soft and being extra romantic and extra this and extra that, right? And I'm a very much like, I told my boyfriend this, he like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after we started seeing each other, he went out of town, if that. Okay, we just barely started dating, like we weren't even actually officially together yet, and he sent a bouquet of flowers to my job, right? And it was so sweet, and I thought it was so romantic. But I told him, I was like, don't be doing that shit if you're not going to keep it up in the future. Like, I love it, and it was a really nice gesture, but I don't want you to set an example that you're not going to be able to follow through on later in a relationship, like when things are tough. And let me tell you right now, I've been dating my man for almost 2 years, and just about once a month, if not more, he either goes to a flower shop and buys me a big ass bouquet or brings flowers home to just have at home for me just because. And I've never had to ask for them. Okay, but that was a precedent I set. I said, if you're going to do that, I like it, but don't do it again unless you're going to keep doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? And now, like, if money ever gets tight and something like that happens, that's obviously not a necessity, and those are extenuating circumstances. Jesus Christ, English. But yeah, just don't be doing shit that you cannot keep up in a relationship. But any negative or extremely aggressive language towards women, especially other women that are not you, especially their ex-girlfriend, baby girl, you're next. You're the next one who's going to be crazy and she was a fucking slut and she was dramatic and blah, blah, blah. Yep, you're next. You're next. Just wait your turn. Another thing that people do in the talking stage I think should be an immediate no, I'm never speaking to you again, is if they yell or are disrespectful towards their family while on the phone with you. Like, no fucks given, they are yelling at their mother while on FaceTime with you in the background. Oh, you're not even trying to hide how much of a piece of shit you are. First of all, I'm Latina, so like we do not yell at our mothers. It's not a thing. It doesn't happen. If I yelled at my mother, I think that she would hang me by my eyelashes, and she has threatened to do so by pinning me up against the wall and grabbing my face and smushing it to the wall and being like, I'm going to pin your eyelids there if you do that again. So for me, any disrespect towards your parents like that, yelling at them, telling them to shut up. One time I told my mom to shut up because she was making me laugh so hard I was going to pee my pants, and I didn't even yell. I was just like, oh my God, shut up, you're gonna make me pee. And she chased me into the house, took her shoe off her foot that we had just spent walking around outside for like 3 hours shopping, and slapped me on the mouth with it multiple times. So yeah, any man who's like disrespectful towards their parents on the phone or their siblings or anything like that on the phone with you, like they're not afraid to show you that side of them, no go. No go, baby girl, because that one is a red flag. You're not even embarrassed of that behavior in the beginning, and like that's just a no. Like, because it's just gonna get worse from there. You know what I'm saying? Because if they're not even like trying to hide their piece of shitness in the beginning, don't even. All right. Now, some men are good at hiding their piece of shitness. There's some of them, a lot of them, are really good at manipulating you into pretending like they're such good men and they're so romantic and sweet by saying all the nice things, saying all the right words, planning the dates, buying you flowers, buying you gifts, showering you with money. Okay. Okay, buddy. So these are things in a relationship that if a man starts to do, you also need to get the fuck out. Okay? And typically these things will start to arise between like 3 to 6 months of you being together, because people can only hold a mask for so long. Okay? Number 1 is not having a steady progression of a relationship. Okay? So like, let's say you started dating a man and, it's been about a month. This is when you're starting to kind of get to know each other a little bit more. You're starting to learn more about each other's like families and jobs and their friend dynamic. And you're probably meeting some of their friends. Okay. Second month, just doing more of that, getting to know each other, more dates, more fun stuff. Third month, cool, great. If by the third month in the relationship, you think back on it and you're like, this man has never said anything about the way that I make him feel. Okay? And you communicate that and you're like, hey, like, it would make me feel better if you talked a little bit more or told me how you feel about me and like reminded me occasionally about, your feelings for me and how strong they are, or maybe if you just opened up to me more emotionally about your stressors and stuff at work, that would be nice, right? You communicate it because you notice they're not doing it and they're still not doing it 6 months in. Get out of there. That man is not emotionally ready for a relationship, and I promise you it will end with him saying that. He's going to say, I wasn't ready. I wasn't emotionally ready. I need to work on myself. It's not you, it's me. I betcha that's exactly what he's going to do. Okay? Because I think that for men, it's a lot harder emotionally to open up, right? But if there isn't a steady progression from like 3 to 6 months of like you're seeing your man sort of be more open and starting to be more emotionally in tune and expressive towards you with his emotions and what he's going through, whether it's, stress at work, stress in his family, stress in, his passion projects, whatever that is. Okay, if there's no steady progression that you see of him slowly opening up to you and you are slowly opening up to him as well, he ain't never gonna open up, baby girl. Because the beginning of the relationship should be the easiest, right? It's like the easiest. You're having all this fun, whatever. You're going on dates, you're hanging out. It's new, it's exciting. And you should be building a connection strong enough to like open up. Right? And if you feel like you're doing your best and you've communicated that like, hey, I wish you would open up a little bit more, and it's like 6 months in, baby girl, he still hasn't told you about like what's really going on, or he doesn't open up with you about like problems at work or problems with his friendships or problem with his family or problems with just like anything that's stressed him out today, like that man is not going to come to you and not going to be able to communicate with you while there's a problem in the relationship. And that will just cause more problems later. So get the hell out now. All right? Number 2 is again an extension of the beginning of a relationship if you don't plan dates. You were planning dates in the beginning, but you're not planning dates now. Why? Okay, or it's always, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Or they never take the initiative to be like, hey, babe, let's go out tonight. And instead they're like, oh, just come over. And you sit at their house and watch TV all day, or sit at their house and like he plays video games while you sit on your phone. Like that's just, that's kind of boring. Okay. And it's one thing because I think especially when you live together, like Jake and I live together, And a lot of nights it's just like he plays video games, I sit over here and read. But we also make the effort to like go on a date. And, you know, he works in the food industry, so he's always like, babe, we got to go try this restaurant. Let's go eat here this weekend. Let's go out. Let's do this. You know, not all the time, but every once in a while he makes the effort to plan something, to put effort into it. And I feel like if you're in a relationship and your man don't do that, and you do that for him and you communicate again, like I feel like that's really important for what anything I'm going to say is like, if you have done that for them, you've communicated that you want that from them and they still don't do it, like they're probably going to do it once just to show you and like get you off their back, but they're not going to do it again. And sometimes it just comes down to like the type of man you want in life, because most people are not compatible. Like you might have an attraction, but you're not actually compatible. And if you're with a man who just like isn't into like going out on dates and instead is like a stay in kind of guy, and you're not really a stay in kind of person and they don't want to compromise when you are compromising for them, it's a no-go for me, baby girl. It's a no-go every time, because ew. Okay. Another red flag in a relationship for me is only buying I'm sorry flowers. This is what I've told my man is, do not ever buy me I'm sorry flowers. And to this day, again, he buys me flowers at least once a month, and they have never been to apologize for anything. And not that he hasn't had anything to apologize for, and not that I've never had anything to apologize for. But I've told him that will associate flowers with only you trying to say, okay, here's this thing, just shut up about it, right? Like, here's this little band-aid over top what happened, and let's just forget about it. Because 9 times out of 10, a man brings you flowers to say, I'm sorry. That's all he has to say. He has not learned, he has not acknowledged what he did wrong. That man has not acknowledged the problems within himself that caused him to have a reason to be sorry, right? It's just, if he only brings you flowers when he's sorry, he ain't that sorry. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like that is not an apology. That is not communication. That is not an effective form of fixing problems in a relationship. Is, oh, I'm just going to take her out on the town, or I'm just going to buy her this gift or buy her these flowers to say I'm sorry. And if a woman accepts that and like is happy with accepting that, she don't really care about you. She just cares about the money. Just saying. And if that's you, girl, get your bag. But in a relationship where you actually want emotional intimacy and a partner for life, that is not sustainable, nor is it good for you or them. Another thing is when men don't listen to your needs. So like, again, if you communicate, hey baby, like I really appreciate when you get me flowers, but I feel like you only get them when you're sorry. And I just wish that you would not give them to me when you're sorry, but actually have a conversation with me. And when you do buy me flowers, because I do like the gesture, just do it because you want to, not because you feel obligated to put this band-aid over top. And if they still keep doing it, nope. And you talk to them again and they still keep doing it, and you talk to them again and they still keep doing it, that's a no-go for me, baby girl. If I gotta tell you more than 3 times, that is already more than I have to tell a kindergarten to sit the fuck down, which you should also do, and get the fuck out of my house, because absolutely the fuck not. Okay? You're a grown-ass adult. No thank you. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about, which I've also experienced, where it's like, if 90% of the time you spend together, especially if you don't live together, is just sex. Like you get together, you hang out, maybe you watch a movie or a TV show, and then all of a sudden he's starting to make out with you and touch you and hold you and grab you and sex and blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, all right, babe, like good night. And that's it? That's all you do, right? On the weekend, you go hang out with your man. You might go out to dinner. You come home, sex. That's all you do. Right? You come over to your man's house, he's playing video games, you hang out for a little bit. Once he's done, now all of a sudden he wants to give you attention, and guess what he wants? More from you. Sex. That's not a relationship. It's just not. And you could have that, and that is fine if that's what you want. But in a relationship, just sex is not going to fix a problem. If after every argument, you don't actually have a conversation again, and he's using sex like an I'm sorry, not a real relationship. That man don't actually want you. He just likes you. Okay? And there's a difference. There's a big difference. This one is a hill that I will die on. Okay? This is literally just like, I will die on this hill. if in 2025, a man who sends you reels, posts reels to his stories or sends them to his friends, he don't post you at all, period, you've been together for longer than like 6 months to a year, and you've mentioned it and you're like, how come you never post me? And they give you the excuse of like, well, I'm not really on social media that much. But every time they're on the toilet, they're scrolling. Crazy. Every time you're at work, they're sending you memes. Crazy. Because you are on social media, you're just choosing not to post your girl. And also, if your girl brings it up to you and is like, well, I just wish that you would like post me on socials and stuff. Social media is like it's like your job application for like social relationships, right? Like when you have even a private social media and somebody requests you and you accept them and you have 0 pictures of your girlfriend, right? You don't necessarily have to be like cheating on your girlfriend or seeing other girls or texting other girls, but a girl is going to assume you're single. And when you're allowing other people to assume you're single in 2025 by not having any pictures of your long-term girlfriend on social media, it's a little bit suspicious. It's a little bit suspicious. My man doesn't post that much either. In 3 years, we haven't been together for 3 years. In almost 2 years, he's posted me maybe twice. But he always reposts what I post of us. He always shares my pictures to his stories. He always shares my videos to his stories. I don't have to ask him to comment on my stuff. I don't have to ask him to be, very obviously in a relationship on a social platform that is essentially like your application to be friends with people and to know people in your communities. Like, it is crazy to me that in 2025, men are still acting as if like the excuse of like, well, I don't post on socials is even real. Because you don't really have to be the guy who posts on socials, but you have to be the guy who presents himself as a man who is not available to other women. And when you don't have anything on your socials about your girl, you don't even reshare what she posts you or tags you in. You don't even keep it in your tagged or like you archive it. Like, ew. Absolutely not. Do not believe him. He is on social media, babe. You are just not his end game. Okay? This is something that I experienced in a relationship in my last long-term relationship. And it was something that at first I thought I could get over or that I thought would change with time. But I'm a business owner, okay? And my ex was not. He was unemployed most of our relationship. He would talk about getting jobs or going to interviews and doing all this and doing all that, right? And he just like never did, right? Like it was just always, when I'd ask about like, okay, but what do you see for your future? Like, what do you want to do? And he'd be like, well, like I want us to be happy. I'm like, no, like what do you want in your life? Like what are you going to achieve? And if it's constantly like, well, when we have this and when we do that, but he ain't doing shit, baby girl, he is not looking for a girlfriend. He is looking for an employer. Find him one. That is not you, okay? And get the hell out of there. Because my ex-boyfriend was so nice, so sweet, like very cool, very chill. Like, he had certain things about him and like his family life was very weird and he didn't have any ambitions in life. But the no ambitions in life, the no goals, and not like in a period of time, right? Like, people are going to go through hard times. A couple months ago, some stuff happened to my boyfriend and in his life that could have made him completely a different person. And I would have stood by him anyways. Some things in our relationship, we didn't really go out as much. He was kind of, obviously just going through something, and that's fine. But for a man to be without ambition completely all the time in your relationship, and he never once, when asked about what he feels for the future, talks about his own goals, and it's always, well, when you do this, I want to be there with you, or I want to support you, or I want this and that, I want with you, when we, but never I, for his future. I have goals to do this. I have aspirations to do this. And you are very much a goal-oriented person. You have aspirations. You want success. You want happiness in life. And he doesn't even have a single thought about any of those things. Girl, I'm telling you right now, get the fuck out, because you will never be happy. I thought that I could be happy. I was like, no, he'll get there. He'll figure it out. We're still young. I'm a business owner, really young. It's super uncommon. He'll figure it out. Girl, he was like 22 and I was 20. Okay. Like, you're 2 years ahead of me in life and you still got no job. Get out of here. And it wasn't that he was a bad person or that he didn't deserve a relationship, because he does, right? But let me give you my first piece of advice that my mom gave to me when it came to dating. Okay, this is probably the one and only advice my mom has ever given me when it comes to dating. My mom told me, in Spanish, of course, date at your level. And what she meant by that is, you don't need to expect a man to be so rich and have all this and have all that, right? If you don't got it, you can't expect that from a man. You can want one, but you cannot expect that from a man when you cannot give that to yourself. My mom always said, like, if you have dreams and goals and aspirations for life and your man doesn't have them, you will never be happy. Get out. You need to date at your level, a man with your amount of drive, your amount of success, your amount of love, your amount of emotional intelligence, because if not, you will never be happy. There will always be something in them that lacks. And now, people don't have to be perfect, just like you're not perfect. And some people have their strengths and some people have their weaknesses. But if a man isn't even close to the level of intellect, success, aspirations, and goals in life that you have, get out of there. And that was like literally the only advice my mom ever gave me in life, in relationships. And she was so fucking right. And I wish that I had listened to her. I thought she was just being a hater. I was like, Mom, you're being a hater. No. Listen to your Latina mom when she tells you that your man ain't shit and you need to get a new one. Because she's right. Just saying. Thanks, Mom, for that one. But honestly, the number one thing I think in a relationship that you should take as like the highest regard, okay? Like, take it in the highest regard, where you're like, fuck, why do I feel like this? Why would I do this? Why would I stay in this relationship? And you need to get out now, is when your partner is or does or says things that you would never in a million years tell anybody in your life who cares about you and who knows you, right? And whose opinion you hold in high regard, right? Like, if your man does some shit that you would never tell your best friend about because you're like, she would never want us to be together after that, right? That's some shit that he did that you should never be with him for. Because if the people who love you most, right, would not accept that person for you, you shouldn't be with them. You should not be with them. Even if they're a nice person and they just make a mistake, or maybe like in my instance, I didn't want to tell anybody about my relationship because I was like kind of embarrassed because my man was unemployed and didn't treat me the way that I wanted to be treated. I didn't tell my family about him. We dated for over a year. Actually, I accidentally broke up with him on like the 13th month that we were together, like to the day. My bad, by the way. I didn't know. That's how little this relationship mattered to me by the end. And to be honest with you, I knew I didn't want to be in that relationship like 3 months in. I was like, girl, I don't think I can do this. And I stayed. But I never introduced him to my mom. I was always like, no, like, you can't meet my mom. She's super judgmental. She's super this, she's super that. And like with Jake meeting my mom, I was nervous, but I was like, she's going to like him. He's a nice guy. He's great. And there's really nothing wrong with him. Like, she's just going to be a little bit weird about it because it's the first guy I've ever introduced to my family. But I was like, I was nervous, but I was sure that it would go well. Like, I was like, even if she says some like fuck shit or like does something weird and mentions how we shouldn't like be living together. Because when Jake first met my mom, it was after we'd already moved in, because we moved in super early. Okay. Which I don't recommend, but I also cannot judge people for doing that because I did it. All right. And it worked out. But yeah, like, if you really just can't tell your family, your best friend, somebody who just like, who chooses you and who wants the best for you and doesn't want to judge you, and like, that they would feel indifferently about your partner after you told them these things that they did or said to you. Right? Like, just so embarrassing. Get out of there. Because that is a sign that you don't even want that for yourself. But you're trying to lie to yourself like you do. Now, let me tell you about some times when I ignored red flags and I ended up finding out that the men that I was in talks with, that I was, had even gone on a date with, had girlfriends. Let's talk about it. And it all starts on this beautiful dating apps. I think the first one I met, his name was Gabe, I think. And I don't give a fuck if I say his real name because, to be honest, this is just facts. All right. And I'm just speaking my truth. All right. I think his name was Gabe. It might have been something else. Honestly, I don't remember. And I also don't know the other one's name. So I'm going to give him a random name that just sounds right. But I met him on Hinge. Because at the time I was like, fuck Tinder. Tinder's for hookups. I don't want that. I want love. Okay. So I thought I was going to find love on Hinge. No, I didn't. Okay. I find this guy on Hinge, right? And he had just moved down here, and I couldn't, he didn't have his last name on his page. He didn't really have much about him, what he did for a living. I just remember there wasn't very much information about him, almost to the point where I was like, either it's a fake or a catfish, or he's hiding something, right? Or he, works in something that he doesn't want people to know what he does, right? So I started talking to him, and I was like, yeah, he said something about, oh, I don't even know your last name. And I was like, oh, it's such and such, what's yours? And he was like, well, why would I tell you that? Blah, blah, blah. Trying to pass it off as flirting, but I could tell something was up. So I said, let me CIA agent this shit. All right. So this is our first week of texting back and forth. It's very short at first, and then after a while we were progressing to talking on the phone and whatnot. Second week of talking, I'm still this is weird, right? And all I had was his first name to go off of. I was Google image reverse searching this man. I couldn't find anything. I was CIAing, okay? I was failing at it, okay? Not being a good FBI agent. And something told me that was weird. I was there's no way this man has no footprint on the internet. And so I'm damn, and he wasn't from here, so it's not I could have looked at local businesses, because he wouldn't have, it just was going to be so hard to find him. And I think I remember I eventually got his last name out of him, but then he was just being super secretive about his social media. I was oh, well, why don't you follow me on Instagram? Then you would see photos of me or something. Because I told him that on my page, I had pictures of me with purple hair. And at the time I didn't have purple hair. At the time I had brown hair. And he was I don't believe you that you have purple hair, or that you had purple hair. And I was well, look at my Instagram. And he was what is it? Right. And the next day I was well, you saw my Instagram, right? We were talking on the phone. And he's yeah, blah, blah. By this time he's calling me baby. He's calling me babe. And we had plans to go on a date. And I was well, you saw my Instagram, blah, blah, and you didn't even follow me. What the hell? And he's why do I have to follow you? Blah, blah, blah. And immediately I was oh, bitch. Oh, bitch. Okay. I had stories posted that day. He didn't even view them. I was why wouldn't you view the stories? It just seemed really odd to me that he didn't want me to find his page or find his person. Right? I was struggling. So then I start looking, every day at my profile views. I start looking at, or not profile views, on my, what's it called? On my story views, right? And one day this motherfucker slips up and he accidentally viewed one of my stories, right? So I'm boom, screenshot. I'm not losing this shit. All right. I screenshot this. I'm bam, I'm checking his page. I check his page. No girlfriend, no nothing, on the main page, right? He only had a couple of posts. They were a lot of I could tell he was kind of an artsy indie dude, super into going to museums and parks and taking pictures of other things, not so much him. I think he was into photography. So I thought it was weird that he didn't have any pictures of himself, but I'm man, he has pictures, so maybe he's just doesn't want to be in front of the camera. Then I go to his tagged photos and I see some pictures of a museum. And I was okay, who is this? And I had seen on his Instagram that he had tons of photos with other girls and dudes. Clearly it was a big friend group he had back home. And I'm like, a little bit sus, but nothing looks super intimate to the point where I would be like, like, no, like, hey, baby, or like, I love you so much in the comments, right? I'm looking around, I'm fishing, right? So I'm like, okay, I go to his tagged, I see the museum picture of this girl. Like, it's just a picture of a girl. And I'm like, okay, maybe he went with her, right? I go, there's no photos of him in there. The only thing that is in there, and he's not even tagged on this slide, he's tagged in the first slide, is a picture of this girl holding hands with somebody. And I'm like, oh shit. But it was a while ago, so I was like, maybe that was from back home. They broke up. He moved down here. I'm like, shit, I don't know, right? So I don't say anything about it. We keep texting, and it gets to like Friday. We're supposed to go out on a Saturday afternoon. We were going to go downtown, hang out, grab some food. And I was like, man, like, I got to find out more. So I start going through her tagged pictures and her comments and her story highlights and everything. I followed her on like a fake page. I'm going through her page. I'm like, oh my God, they're still together. They're still together. Oh, my spidey senses tingled. I was like, I knew it. I knew there was something wrong with this man. So I sent her a DM. I sent her a hey girly text. And I was like, hey, I don't want to like be weird or anything, but I'm sort of texting, Gabe or whatever the fuck his name was. And I'm like, I'm sort of texting Gabe, and like, I don't want to assume anything, but I saw your pictures and I just wanted to know if you guys are in a relationship, because I'm not trying to get in the middle of anything, and I don't really know if you guys have an open relationship, but that's not what I'm into. And I feel like he's being kind of secretive about it. So I just wanted to know like what was going on. I sent that text at like 6 p.m. I wake up the next day. It's a Saturday morning. I remember, because I didn't have to work. I woke up whenever I wanted. And I was like, let me see if she said anything, right? Because I had stayed up late, like trying to see if she would answer. No answer. I'm blocked. Completely blocked from him and her. He removed me as a match, like completely just disappeared off the face of the planet. Months later, I checked. They're still together. They're still together. She came to visit him after that. They started posting tons of pictures together. Like, I knew she was like, you better start posting me now, bitch. And he did. And I think they might even still be together. I haven't checked. Obviously, it's been like 2 or 3 years since that happened. But I was like, damn. Okay? Crazy. Now, another story. I think we're going to call him Tristan, because he gives me Tristan vibes, like not in a good way. And I remember seeing Tristan on Tinder. This man I found on Tinder, and this was after my long-term relationship with my ex, and I was like, all right, I'll get out there, right? So I found this guy. He's beautiful, not from here, like just moved down here. And he had like beautiful blue eyes, brown hair, really big smile. I was like, damn, like this man is it. Okay. I was like, damn, this man is it. And I remember being like, some of his pictures are not that cute though. Like the one picture that I was like really banking on, I was like, damn, he's fine. But in all the other pictures, I was like, I don't know about that. Now, he was very polite, very gentlemanly, planned the date, was like, hey, like, do you want me to pick you up? I was like, no, I don't really do that on the first date, just because, like, I don't want strangers knowing where I live, like, I'll meet you there. And he was like, okay, cool. Like, I found this sushi spot. It's out in, this area. It's a little bit far from me. And he was like, yeah, like, blah, blah, blah. Nice guy, seemed really polite. I was like, okay, I got myself a little gentlemanly white man. Like, all right, I see it. And we go on the date. I see him, and I'm like, oh, no. Skinny. Y'all, he was wearing white skinny jeans. And, like, red pandas and like a black t-shirt, so tight. Like, you could have called it a baby tee and I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, brother was wearing a baby tee and white jeans on a first date. Absolutely not. I was like, this is not gonna be for me. Because after my ex, which, like, all respect to him, like, he, again, I hate like talking shit about him when I go online and I talk about my exes, because like he really did nothing wrong. It just like wasn't for me. But my ex was super skinny. And I did not like that. Like, afterwards, I was like, I don't think I want to date another skinny guy. Like, I just feel like he either has to be super tall or he has to be like a burly man. Do you know what I'm saying? So when this guy showed up, I was not expecting him to be a tiny little skinny boy. Okay, like nothing about him was giving man. And I was like, I don't think I want this. But I was like, okay, like I'll give it a try. You know, my friend was like, girl, like stop being so picky, like whatever. I go on this date with him. It's a little bit awkward. Like honestly, I felt like there was no chemistry at all. Like I felt like he was really excited to be on a date with a Latina woman. And I was in my prime back then. So like I get it, you know, like I would be excited to be on a date with me too. But like he was so nervous to the point where I was just like so uncomfortable. And I remember when the bill got brought to the table, it was almost like he was like, you know, like, are we gonna split it? You know, but he didn't want to say anything. And so when the bill came and he was like looking at it, I would just like took a sip of my water. I'm like minding my business, pretending like I ain't got nothing to do with that bill. Now, this has never happened to me, but if a man ever asks me to pay a bill, I'm paying the whole thing. I'm paying the whole thing. Actually, I'm putting my card down. I'm putting my Capital One Venture metal card to embarrass you, okay? And I'm putting that shit down and I'm paying for the whole thing. And he didn't, though. He paid for it. We said goodbye. And we were saying goodbye. Mind you, it's like broad daylight. And it was such a quick date. Like, it was so quick. And I remember being like, oh, thank God. Like, I don't think I want to see this guy. And he was like, can I get a kiss? And no, at first he was like, we're walking to the car, right? He walks me to my car. And he's like, so, like, do you want to, like, go out again? And I was like, yeah, I'm like open to it, you know, planning on like going home and like completely ghosting him. Like I was like, no, this is not the vibe. And then he hits me with the, can we kiss? And I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, maybe like the kiss will spark some sort of attraction because like I was not attracted at all. And it was just so awkward and uncomfortable. And I remember being like, no, not for me. Baby girl, no. Like literally baby girl, like he felt like I was kissing a woman. No. And what else happened? And then so then I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Couple days passed by. He was going back home for something, and so he flew back home. And you know, I didn't want to like completely ghost him, and I was like, okay, like maybe we'll try it again in like I wanted to plan like a more casual date where it was like not like sitting down at like a nice-ish sushi restaurant for lunch in broad daylight, but maybe like let's go bowling, or like let's go do something where it's like nighttime and it's more like fun and chill. And like, you know, like just now that I kind of know him, I was like, maybe, you know, I was really trying to give it a chance because it's my first time like dating after my ex. And I was like, you know, I want to be open to things, but I also don't want to like compromise again like I did in my relationship. And so I'm like, okay, we're talking, we're planning our date. He's back home, so he wasn't really texting me much. And at 3 in the fucking morning, I get a text from this man, and it says, hey, this is Tristan's girlfriend. I just wanted you to know that he's a piece of shit and he's a fucking cheater and he is a loser and a cheater and like blah, 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 blah. And, like if you want to keep going on with him, like he's single now or whatever, but like blah, blah, blah. I just thought you should know. And I said, I think I remember responding and being like, LOL, okay, thanks. Because like what else am I supposed to say to that? Like I really wanted to get on the phone with her and be like, girl, you are such a baddie for that one. I just wanted you to know that you are such a baddie. Because I think she was like, he's been in a long-term relationship for like 2 years or some shit like that. And I was like, damn girl. So yeah, that was the time I found out that this man was cheating on his girlfriend with me. Twice, actually. This happened to me twice. Now, let's talk about the one time I dated a Twitch streamer. Because when I lived in California, and I lived in California during the pandemic, okay, I was on Tinder, and I had just broken up with my ex-boyfriend, and I was kind of like opening up to seeing other people and like dating and stuff. I'd gone out with this one guy. I wasn't really feeling him. And, I was like, all right, I'll open it up. All right. Even though I was still like hoping my ex would be like, I want you back. Right. Even though he was a fucking loser and a piece of shit. Guess what? I matched with this guy. And he had gone to like this private Christian college, which I was a little bit iffy about dating somebody super into like the Christian religion or any religion at all, because I think that I'm not a very religious person. I think I would say I'm a spiritual person. I was born and raised in like a Christian household, in like a non-denominational church. Like, I enjoyed going to church as a kid, and I always found God was like where I would turn to when I was really, really down. But once I started experiencing a lot of really dark, deep depression, I was grappling with the idea of religion. And I think I still haven't really come to the conclusion of whether or not I want to be a part of religion or not, or a religion or any religion. I haven't put much thought into it, to be honest with you. I just try to be a good person, and I try to be better every day. But like, I don't know. I was like, maybe he'll be like a nice boy. And after my ex being like such a piece of shit, I was like, okay, maybe I need like a chill Christian, like religious boy to be nice to me, right? And to be like traditional with me. Okay. I was like, my mom will like him. So I found out that he had actually moved to Arizona, where he was from, because of COVID, but that he was going to go back to school, but he was just going to work for like a semester and then go back to school, right? Once the pandemic like chilled out. Well, it never did. And I ended up moving back to Florida. But before that, we had started FaceTiming and texting and calling. And I would watch his streams, and his friends would be like playing with him. They would play like COD and like other things. And I'd watch the stream and I'd comment and I'd be like, hey, baby. And he would call me baby. And like, we didn't want to make it official because we hadn't even seen each other in person yet. Like, this had all happened over text, like no dating, no nothing yet. And he was really sweet and really respectful. And I was like, oh my God, like, this could really be somebody that, I get to know. And like, maybe it works out. Maybe we find ourselves in like the same city, or maybe we just do long distance for a little bit until the pandemic's over. And then we can, kind of be close together. And, all of his friends knew about me. All of his close friends knew about me. And they were all like, when are you guys going to make it official? When are you guys going to do this? When are you guys do that? And we'd be like, no, we haven't even met. We need to meet in person. And I knew he was a real person because we'd like FaceTimed and whatnot. And it became more clear that he wasn't going to come back to school, and I was moving back to Florida. And he was like, it's okay. Like, we'll still, keep this going and like blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'm going to miss you so much because you're going to be farther now. And, maybe we'll like fly out and I'll see you and maybe you can come see me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, like blah, blah. And so I'm like, oh my God, like this guy is committing some time to me, like making future plans. So I was like, okay, but I still was like super traumatized from my ex. So I was just kind of like enjoying the sweetness of him. I wasn't like really wanting a relationship yet because, again, we hadn't even met in person. But I was kind of coming to the conclusion that like this really wasn't going to be a thing, but it was nice at the time. So in like early February, Valentine's Day, he had started to kind of like back off. Wasn't answering as often, wasn't texting me as often, wasn't calling me as often. And I remember I was like, well, are we going to do something for Valentine's Day? Like maybe we can do like a FaceTime date. And he was like, yeah, like we'll do a FaceTime date. Like I'll call you, like I get home from work. Cause at that time he started doing like some sort of job. And he was like, I'll call you when I get home around like 4. Right? So he was like, just get ready. And like, I'll get ready and we'll do like a FaceTime date. Valentine's Day comes around. No good morning text. Every morning for the last like 4 or 5 months, I'd gone like a good morning text, like a good night text, like super sweet messages, right? Doesn't answer. Doesn't text me. I text him good morning. Doesn't answer. I text him again later. I'm like, hey, you still want to call? Doesn't answer. 4 o'clock comes around. I'm ready. Doesn't answer. 5 o'clock comes around. He doesn't call. 6, 7, 8. Until it's like midnight. And I'm like, dude, I cannot believe this. So I just didn't say anything. I was like, all right, I'll just fuck off. And About like 2 or 3 days later, he still hasn't texted me, right? I see that he posted something on Instagram, right? Or he was tagged in something or something like that. And it was a picture of like a painting, like two paintings, like when somebody does like a painting with a couple on like the side of this hill. And it was like a beautiful view. And it looked like a romantic date, right? With this like really pretty girl. And he was tagged in it. And it was like something about like new beginnings or relationships or something. And I was like, ain't no fucking way. So I blocked him. I was like, fuck you, whatever, removed. And literally like 9 months ago, it's been since 2021. Okay, so it's been 4 years. No, well, at the time, I guess it had been 3 years. It's been 3 years, 3.5, almost 4 years at this point. This motherfucker tried to add me on, not CapCut, some other time lapse or some shit like that, where you post like disposables and then they like develop and then they post later. It's like a knockoff of David Dobrik's app, right? He tried to add me on that bitch. I was like, ho, who is you? I was like, bro, you had me crying because I was like, this boy is so sweet, like he's so nice. I was like, fuck, like, and I think I remember he like tried to text me afterwards and like reach out to me, and I was just kind of like, ugh, stay away from me. But yeah, like fuck that kid. And the other day I was looking, so my vlog channel, which go subscribe, my vlog channel, I used that channel as a kid, like to subscribe to all these random people. Like every day I've been going down my subscribe list and I've been like looking at random people I used to be subscribed to, like Simply Nailogical and a couple of other like YouTubers that I used to love. Tell me why I see that I'm still subscribed to this man. And newsflash, buddy, I have more subscribers than you. He's had his YouTube channel for like easily since 2019 maybe, and I've had mine for a month and a half, and I have like 25 subscribers and he has 16. So just saying I'm doing better than you. Just saying I'm doing better than you. So that's all I'm gonna say. And needless to say, now you only got 15 because I unsubscribed, bitch. Period. All right, you guys. I did not even get to some of my non-negotiables in relationships, but maybe we'll talk about that next week. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Now it is time for a quick yuck and a yum for this week. Now, my yuck for this week, you guys, I need to sit up for this. There is something about grown men who are balding, wearing hype beast ass uniforms like they're 20, and smoking a vape. It's disgusting. Y'all, when I say that I recently have met multiple men who are in their 40s, like I know they've spoken to me and they're in their 40s, balding, dressed like a fucking hype beast, like it's 2015, and they're like walking down Melrose in their off-white fucking belts and panda shoes with ginormous fucking like colorful vapes with like a meme on the screen. I'm embarrassed for them. And truly, like, I don't know if they have daughters or sons or any children at all, but I hope to God they don't, because I would be so embarrassed to leave the house to go to fucking dinner with my dad dressed as a goddamn hypebeast, like he's role playing. Okay, that's disgusting. And truly, like, y'all need to stop. That must be stopped. That is such a yuck, disgusting, if you will. All right, now my yums of this week. I was going to talk about Jessie Reyes again, but instead we're going to talk about this book, Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. All right, I'm not even done with this book. I'm like maybe a little bit over halfway through, and this is going to be a immediate 5 stars. Immediate 5 stars. And I'm just going to give you a really quick synopsis, but I'm not going to give you everything. But basically this follows Yasmin and Josiah. They are ex-husband and wife. They went through something extremely traumatic together, and Josiah's inability to tackle his feelings and emotions over what happened. And Yasmin's deep, dark depression that she went through caused a huge rift in their relationship to cause their divorce. And this takes place like 3 years after this whole traumatic things happen, and 2 years after their divorce is finalized, where Josiah is starting to date the cook at the restaurant that they are still co-owners of, and they have 2 children. And it's just like them navigating their relationship and seeing just like the character development from like Josiah's standpoint, because we get his perspective and we get Yasmin's perspective, and like navigating dating and navigating, you know, how to run their business together, and like watching Yasmin start to flourish and like become, you know, the woman that she is, and start to come out of this dark depression that she was in for so long is so beautiful. And I really seriously am enjoying and loving this book. So highly recommend this. I just know it's already a 5-star for me. This is going to be a 5 stars for sure by the end. I know I'll give you one little trope. It is a second chance romance. So I'm so excited. But this is my yum for the week. I'm not even done with it. And I already know, okay, that it's a 5-star. So yeah, that is it, you guys. This is today's podcast episode. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am here every single Monday. I also have a vlog channel, like I mentioned earlier. Everything's linked down below. Check out my Instagram. I post on there pretty often. I post on TikTok pretty often. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Bye.